I always ask guests how many were in their party, but the night 3 men walked in and I counted 4 was the night I stopped asking. This is the story of the 4th man at the Red Fox Inn. I never believed in ghosts until I worked at the Red Fox Inn in Middleburg, Virginia. The inn is old in a way that creaks speak louder than footsteps, and the walls seem to remember the people who once leaned on them. Built in 1728, the Red Fox Inn has seen wars, weddings, and more whispered secrets than a church confessional. It's beautiful in its own way. Stone walls, candlelit dining rooms, antiques scattered like breadcrumbs from another time. But underneath all that charm, there's a heaviness you can't shake. I was a waiter there for about 2 years, mostly nights. I didn't mind the quiet shifts, fewer guests, fewer complications. But there was always something off about the place once the sun dipped behind the Blue Ridge. You would hear footsteps on the upper floors when no guests were checked in. Cold pockets of air that didn't match the HVAC flow. The scent of cigar smoke lingering in closed rooms, especially room 7. The inn used to serve as Confederate cavalry commander John Mosby's headquarters during the Civil War. They say he still walks the halls, inspecting his men. Locals speak his name with the same caution you'd use for a snake curled near your boot. But nothing unsettled me like the night of the 4th man. It was a Thursday, early fall. Crisp air, golden leaves. The inn was quiet. We had maybe 3 or 4 tables occupied. I was folding napkins near the host stand when the front door creaked open. 4 men walked in, mid-30s to 40s, button-downs, that casual tourist look. They were laughing about something, but their footsteps slowed as they crossed the threshold like the air had thickened around them. I smiled and stepped forward. Table for 4? The man in front, tall, dark, hair slicked back, looked at me confused. Just 3. I paused. I could have sworn there was 4. I glanced at my coworker, Elise, who stood a few feet behind me. She seen it too. I caught the quick arc of her eyebrow. Still, I shrugged it off. Maybe I miscounted. Right this way, I said, and led them to a table in the main dining room. About 10 minutes later, Elise came over to refill their waters. I was resetting a nearby table and heard her ask, "You guys want menus for all 4, or are you waiting on someone?" There was an awkward silence. "There's just 3 of us," one of the men said again. "Has been all night." Elise looked back at me, visibly shaken now. I joined her at the host stand when she returned. "You saw it too, right?" she whispered. "Yeah," I said. He was trailing behind, older looking, dressed differently, like a long gray coat or something. She nodded slowly. I thought it was some part of some reenactment thing. We tried to shrug it off, but the night got stranger. Their table was near the fireplace. Old portraits hung above it. Civil War generals mostly. Halfway through their meal, one of the men turned and stared at the portrait of Colonel Mosby. He squinted. "That's weird," I heard him say. "What is?" his friend asked. "I don't know, just doesn't he look familiar?" They laughed it off, but I kept watching, because behind them, just for a second, I saw the figure again. Standing at the far end of the dining room, pale face, gray coat, tall, watching them. When I blinked, he was gone. I didn't say anything. Who would believe me? But things escalated after dessert. One of the guests, Adam, I think his name was, asked where the bathroom was. I pointed him down the hall. He was gone for maybe 10 minutes. When he returned, he looked shaken. He sat down, face pale. "What's wrong?" his buddy asked. He leaned in, whispering, "I think someone followed me." The other 2 chuckled. "What, like a ghost?" But Adam wasn't laughing. "I'm serious. I went in, locked the stall. I heard boots outside, heavy ones. Then whispering, like someone speaking right outside the door. I thought it was one of you messing with me. When I came out, nobody was there." That's when Elise stepped in. You said you saw someone too, right? They nodded. We all looked at each other. No one wanted to say it out loud, but it was hanging in the air. The fourth man. The guests finished up quickly after that. They didn't even wait for the check. They threw some bills down and left in a rush. As they passed through the front door, I swear to you, I saw one of them glance over his shoulder like he expected someone to follow. That should have been the end of it. But later that night, while closing, I went to tidy their table. I froze. The napkin of the fourth chair, the one no one had sat in, was unfolded. A fork sat across the plate, used, and a faint powdery footprint lingered on the wooden floor beneath the chair, like a boot, old, worn. No one else was in the room. The cameras in that section, our manager said they froze for about 5 minutes during their dinner. Static, then came back on. I didn't sleep well for days. Elise and I tried not to talk about it, but a few weeks later, an elderly couple came in and asked to sit at the same table. When I brought them water, the woman pointed at the seat, the same seat where the unseen fourth man had sat, and said, "That's his spot." "Whose?" I asked. She smiled gently. "My grandfather. He was a Confederate courier. Used to dine here long ago. Never made it home. Shot in the leg and bled out by the river. They say he wanders in, sits where he used to wait for news from Colonel Mosby. Never causes harm, just lonely." I didn't know what to say. She looked up at me and added, "If you ever see him, don't be afraid. He doesn't realize he's dead." I don't work at the Red Fox Inn anymore. I couldn't. Every time I walked past that table, I felt the weight of someone unseen watching. Every shift after that night, the fourth chair seemed heavier somehow, like I remembered him. People ask if I believe in ghosts. I don't know what I believe anymore, but I do know this. Some guests never check in, some never check out, and some just keep coming back for one last meal. Even if no one else sees them, even if there's only three of us.